Big SUVs require big sacrifices. The first time I reviewed the X7 for you was on a road trip from Bulgaria to Greece. 3 years later, I'm sacrificing myself for the cause again, this time somewhere around Palm Springs, California. What has changed and why? And does the X7 drive the same in the States as it does in Europe? Let's find out. Let's start with the good news for those of you who can't live without a V8. The V8 engine is still available in Europe. I mentioned this in the context of the recent debut of the new 7 Series, which in Europe is only available in electric or electrically assisted combustion engine variants and V6 motors. More on the X7's engine range in a moment. Meanwhile, what has changed from the outside? First and foremost, the front end. While the pre-facelift version had many journalists, including myself, focusing on the large radiator grille, I now have a new fetish: the headlights. I wondered if it wasn't too early for the refresh, but I was told that with the arrival of the new 7 Series, it was decided to unify the appearance of the flagship models. And indeed, in both of these cars, the fronts are even more massive and aggressive. How do you like it? Drop me a comment below this video. For the first time in BMW, you can order up to 23-inch rims. Now these are 22s, X7 comes on 20s as standard. Also standard is a digital tire analysis system. Tire data is sent to the cloud where it is analyzed by artificial intelligence, and based on this analysis and statistical data, the system sends information about excessive tire wear down to your My BMW app, your BMW app. The system can also detect a drop in pressure faster than pressure sensors. Wow! The X7 is more than 518 centimeters long, 2 meters wide, 183.5 centimeters high, and has a wheelbase length of more than 310 centimeters. There are 14 exterior colors, standard. On top of that, there is a palette of some 40 colors from the BMW individual catalog. When the driver approaches the vehicle, it first detects them from a distance of 3 meters and prepares, and when the driver is 1.5 meters away, a welcome sequence of exterior lighting begins. This includes the illuminated iconic grille, which is standard on the M60i version. Then there is unlocking of the locks, and finally, when the driver takes their seat, the welcome also appears on the screen. A quick housekeeping note: I'm here to make car reviews for you and not to chase the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate you liking, subscribing and putting on the notifications and things, but that doesn't always do the trick. This is why I have a newsletter, which I encourage you to subscribe to. That way you'll get notifications about new videos straight to your inbox. No spam, just new videos. Link in the description. Here are a few words about BMW's efforts to reduce emissions. This is happening both at the production stage, where recycled plastic is used to make many components, and at life cycle stage, as the car is more efficient. The engines are all mild hybrids, which reduces fuel consumption and boosts performance. Plus, aerodynamics. The radiator grille can close as needed, improving the aerodynamic characteristics of this behemoth. At higher speeds, the standard air suspension lowers by 20 mm, which has a positive effect on stability and also contributes to lower drag. And now for the display, or rather two 12.9 and 14.9 inch displays combined enter under a single anti-reflective surface curved towards the driver. I remember how in the old BMWs the center console was tilted towards the driver, and back then this kind of driver focus was the shit. Today BMW promises that the driver will be able to focus on other things with BMW OS 8. Apparently, the experience in BMW's new cars can be personalized, and the car learns the driver's most frequently used functions and over time displays them kind of on top. Now, from the point of view of a journalist who spends a couple of hours with a car during a launch event, or at best a week during a normal test drive, it's hard to judge the performance of such solutions, because these require having an account in the My BMW app, assigning a car to it, which is often impossible because the vehicles are assigned to the press fleet manager, long-term use of the car, etc., etc. Now, I have a very rudimentary app for my Mini, and from it I can open and close the vehicle, check the status, turn on ventilation, and I think I used it once or twice to see if the car was open or not, and I couldn't be bothered to get up from the couch. Yay! In the X7, BMW refreshed the dashboard. There are new, more ergonomic air vent adjustment sticks, and the air vents themselves are thinner. There's also a transparent panel with mood lighting, which also displays different light animations depending on what the car is doing. For example, it glows blue when the phone rings. There's also a new gear selector, like in the new 7 series. Also here there's no manual transmission or physical connection to it, so the lever protruding above the tunnel is redundant. Now standard on the X7 are the so-called comfort seats, meaning those with more adjustment. They are heated with memory settings. Seat ventilation is an option, as well as is heated steering wheel and heated armrests in the middle and on the doors. The cup holders are also heated and cooled. If you want to charge anything more than your phone wirelessly, there are 2 USB-C and 1 USB-A ports in the front, 4 USB-C ports in the second row, and 2 more USB-C ports in the third row. Let's take a look in the back, where less has changed. You can still order the car as a 6-seater with 2 seats in each of the 3 rows. The standard 7-seater variant gets a regular bench which slides up to 14.5 centimeters to make more room for passengers traveling in the third row. Passengers in the second and third row have separate climate control zones and separate sections of the panoramic roof. In the second row, various BMW accessories, including holders for tablets and other mobile devices, can be mounted here in those accessory mounting seat socket thingies. Depending on the interior configuration, the boot volume is between 300 and 2,120 liters. The split tailgate is electrically operated. When the car is stationary, it can be lowered by 40 millimeters, making it easier to load and get in. Let's talk about the engines. You can choose between models with xDrive40i, 40D and M60i. The xDrive40i is a 3-liter inline gasoline, 380 horsepower, 500 newton meters of torque. 40D is a 3-liter 6-cylinder diesel with 340 horsepower and 700 newton meters of torque, and the M60i is a V8 with 500 something horsepower and 700 something newton meters of torque. Very powerful indeed. All engines are so-called mild hybrids with electric boost, which adds 200 newton meters and up to 12 horsepower. There is an 8-speed automatic to go with that, Steptronic. Interesting is the 3-liter gasoline motor, in which mild hybrid allows slow maneuvers in electric mode. At the same time, power and torque have increased by 47 horsepower and 70 newton meters respectively, versus the previous version of this powertrain. Now, I'm not ready to explain the intricacies of the changes to the manifolds and the combustion chamber, but basically there is more power, better economy and extra energy recuperation needed to recharge the 48-volt mild hybrid battery. BMW has also improved the X7 soundproofing. Acoustic side windows now are standard, and there is additional soundproofing, including some structural changes under the hood. How does the X7 drive? BMW is trying to achieve opposing goals. On the one hand, comfort, and on the other, the brand's traditional sporty driving experience. The xDrive all-wheel drive is rear-biased. In addition, the M60i version comes standard with an M Sport differential and IAS rear-wheel steering. Then there's the Executive Drive Pro package, also standard on the M60i with active roll stabilization, but also the ability to disconnect the anti-roll bar, which in turn reduces sway on bumps. On models with 6-cylinder engines, rear-wheel steering is an option, but I think it's worth ordering it as it makes this over 5-meter-long car much more maneuverable. On the other hand, I remember that a few years ago, the IAS made BMW cars floaty at higher speeds, and it's better, but it's still there. As standard, even the 6-cylinder models have adaptive air suspension with basic roll stabilization and enhanced ride comfort. You can order the X off-road package with additional off-road modes and underbody protection. The ground clearance can be increased by up to 40 mm when driving at low speeds through rough terrain. The BMW X7 is also equipped with numerous driver assistance systems which have been upgraded here as part of the facelift. Standard features include a forward collision warning system which now works at intersections, a steering assist system with active lane return assist, or a collision avoidance system for reversing. Adaptive cruise control with stop and start function offers a level 2 automated driving experience. It can adjust not only the distance to the preceding vehicle but also speed by adopting the recognized speed limit, but you can turn that bit off. The system also uses navigation data and adjusts the vehicle's speed for tighter turns, for example, and if you are driving along the route planned in the navigation, the car will start slowing down before maneuvers, for example, before the intersection where you're supposed to turn. One of my favorite driver assistance systems is the reversing assistant, which reverses the last 50 meters following its tracks. This system has been available on BMWs for several years now, but in the facelifted X7 there is the professional version which allows you to remember and reverse the last 200 meters. The BMW X7 prices start at €97,700 for the xDrive40i version, the diesel starts at €99,700 and the V8 M60i xDrive starts at €127,200. A few years ago the X7 started under €85,000, but those days are long gone. The facelifted BMW X7 is a lot of car from a European perspective. Yes, larger cars are common sight in America, but none of them drive like the X7. Because the X7 handles great not only for a large car, but it combines comfort and driving experience in a way that others may only envy BMW for. And what do you think about the refreshed BMW X7? Do we need more, bigger, powerful cars in Europe? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.